Okay, so in this video, what I'm going to be doing is installing Proxmox VE into Qemu, Qemu emulator, and so basically the reason for doing that is because it's a lot more convenient to have virtual machines stored in Proxmox, because it keeps all the configuration and you've got it all like set up in the web interface. And so right, so the first thing you have to do to install Proxmox is you have to go to their website, and I think it's yes, if you go to proxmox.com, and it's interesting, they just released 6, but I'm going to be installing 5.4 just because I've been doing all the testing on that. So basically, if you go to downloads, and then you can install 6 if you want, but the one I'm going to be installing is version 5.4 because that's one I've just been doing some testing on. And so at the downloads page, just click on download, and then it will just basically ask you to sort of download the file. But basically, this ISO, I've already downloaded it. So what I'm going to do next is just start the installation. Right, so as you can see, I've got the Proxmox VE sort of 5.4 ISO, and this is just my command line for starting. And yeah, also the other thing I've done is I use this command to create a basically a 250 gig virtual drive for it. And basically, if you want to, I didn't really use that many commands, but if you want to see which commands I use, or throughout this installation, you can go to my website at macpczone.co.uk and just go to applications used. And in there, if you just go to where it says installing Proxmox VE 5.4, and there you will have some sort of command lines I'm going to be using as I go through this. Alright, so now I'm just going to start the installation. Oh yeah, and I'm just going to say another thing that I've done is, I just remembered, is I actually have this listening on VNC, and the reason for that is because it's convenient to have it running this way in the background, because when you have it running with its normal window open, I find that my screen doesn't go to sleep. So the way to actually see what comes up on the screen is you just run like any sort of VNC viewer that you want to, and just have it listening to sort of like the local host address. And the other convenient thing about this is that it can also connect to another machine on the network. Sorry, connect from another machine on the network to actually, sort of to run it. So just agree to the GPL Affero, even though you don't have to agree to it if you're not redistributing, but these guys are too used to like what Microsoft does. Anything Microsoft does, all the other companies think they have to do it as well. So just keep clicking next. Now you just got to select the country, whatever country you're in. Then just type the password, and this is basically your main login password. And that's it. So just continue with the defaults, and then basically it will run the installation. As you can see, one of the main things, it gives you some of the sort of main benefits you have, and one of the main ones is the fact that it actually contains containers. And it does actually come in handy, because what's really good about this is the fact that you can run a virtual machine and put it in its own network, and then you can actually have a container running and attach that to the same network as well, which is very convenient. And it certainly saves having to type all the commands out on the command line. And of course, as long as the emulator that you're using passes through the host processor, then it's no problem running it inside a virtual machine and then having virtual machines running inside it. Anyway, you see what the performance is like. Okay, so that's it. So now just reboot. Alright, so that's it. So now that we've that's booted up, the rest of what you do is basically from the web interface, and of course it tells you how to connect here. And of course, the certificate is dodgy because it's just running on your sort of local machine. Right, so now basically you log in as the root user, and the password is the password that you typed during the installer. And of course you get this nice subscription notice that keeps coming up. So first thing we do is just get rid of that, just so we don't have it popping up all the time. So basically you can SSH into the server using the same IP address that it showed you for the web interface. And SSH password is just the same as the one you set, of course, to log into the web interface as well. So basically, to remove the that screen every time you, that pop-up every time you log in, I'll just put the command on the page. It's just this sed command, and you might have to actually run this if at any time you do any updates, but it's pretty straightforward. Just SSH in and just one command, and that's it. And there is a way of doing it. Well, you could set this as like a cron job or something, or there's a way you can add it as a hook to updates as well. That's if you sort of really does bother you. And the other thing that has to be done is when it comes to updates for the Proxmox, because you're not getting the subscription, you have to actually edit the some of the repo files. So you have to edit the enterprise one and just basically put a hash in front, just to stop it from trying to access this repo and then give you an error. And then the next thing you have to do is you have to edit the standard repo sources file, and then you have to add in an extra one for Proxmox. Right, so then just save that. And so what that does is it's a no subscription repo, so that at least you can get updates to it. Of course, they'll say on their page that they're not tested as well, but you probably find it's not going to sort of crash just because those updates are installed. Of course, the other option is if you've got some money, just get a subscription, but that's only if you're going to be using it seriously, of course. Right, so that's all we need for here. For connecting via SSH, because basically now we can do everything else from the normal interface. And so now the one thing I want to do next thing I want to do here is to actually install. I want to create a couple of virtual machines, one virtual machine and one container. And before you can do that, you have to actually have like the virtual machine ISOs installed. And so by default, there's actually a local section. Local. Don't know what you call it. Not sure what you call it, but basically it's this storage here. This is inside the actual Proxmox. There's a section where sort of files are stored, and you can store like backup files, ISO images, and container templates. And basically at the moment it's empty, and on the actual server itself, I thought you'd have the path here, because normally it tells you where it is. It's like it's in var. Yeah, normally the path. Well, anyway, it's in. I think it's in var lib vz. That's actually in the if you SSH into it. But what you can do is you don't have to worry about going in there now, because all you do is go to content. So you basically select it, go to content, and then you have this. There's two things you could do. One thing you can do is to check to see what templates are available. And basically, this is a list of the templates that come with it as a default. And basically, the one that I want to install is this one's at Centos 6. And what you can do is you can actually it looks like the browser screen just a little bit too small. So there is a certain minimum size. So basically, this is the image. This is the container template that I want to use. And so basically, if I just download it, it will actually go out on the internet and actually pull that container image. Okay, so that's when you see it tells you the location. It's Valib VZ template cache. And as you can see, it's downloaded okay. So, right, and so there we have it. So there's the template, now appears inside, as a container template that we can use. And of course, you can download whichever other ones you see there as well. And then the other thing you can do is if you have an ISO image that you want to install into a Proxmox, then you can upload it. Right, so I've got a Centos 7 image there. And so basically, if I select that and just open that, and so basically, well, because it's local, obviously it'll be pretty fast. So it's convenient if you've got the ISO on your same machine you're running the virtual machine from, and even if it's a big ISO, it will upload pretty quick. Alright, that's it. So then basically there you have the Centos 6 container and the Centos 7 ISO image that I uploaded. And so what I'm going to be doing is using the container as a way of accessing the Centos 7 machine, as you see in sort of like the next video that I'm going to do. Well, not the next one, the one after the next one anyway. And so basically, I'm just going to get the, container ready. So the way to do that is just go back to the sort of Proxmox machine, and then basically create container. And so you just give it a host name. This is the host name it will have inside it. And then you just have to give it a sort of root password. And also, if you ever want to SSH into it, you can actually load an SSH key file, which is sort of convenient if this container is going to be like on the internet. So that you don't have, if you don't want to use like a password connection to it, and so you can do that just by sort of searching for wherever your SSH ID is. And I might, I don't know, do a video showing that if anyone's interested. And so then the next thing you do is you choose the template, and so that local storage is that sort of directory that was in the var lib. And as you can see, when we select template, this is the one that we downloaded. And that's one of the good things about these about the containers, is that you can make the file system really small because there isn't really much on there, and it's the actual host system that does most of the work. Of course, you don't need much memory either, and much CPU to run the container, or much memory. And this is, this is one thing I forgot. I don't know, I think we're okay actually. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to connect it to the virtual machine, the first bridge. And yeah, so everything just needs to be automatic. We can then have a DHCP address, and we don't really, so you can just leave the DNS, and then so this gives us the sort of summary of what we've chosen, and might as well just start it after it's created. Right, so now it's creating the generating the keys. Okay, so that's it. So that container's is finished being created, and you can see here that it's up. And the good thing about it is that you can, when you select it, you can actually go to its console. And so this is it running basically. So you just log in with whatever password you chose, and you can log, and that is the root password. And that's it. And so we're inside now. Alright, so we can see the IP address which has been assigned to it. And so what we can do, you can actually SSH to that. Oh no, actually we can't. I just forgot. Because the problem is that nothing's actually running on it. And actually, I just remember I've got the firewall on it, so probably just disable that firewall just so it's easy to get into. Right, so next thing to do then is because I want to actually be able to SSH into this, I just need to have SSH running on it. Right, so let's install. Why it keeps why it's doing. That's the other thing. Sometimes this does have a problem when you're with some browsers. I've noticed. Right, another thing is because of the way I'm going to connect. I just need to just change something in the SSH. Strange. I don't know what is causing that. Just for some reason, something is because of what it is. I just want to well, anyway, you see what I'm trying to do later on. So for that to work, I need to allow gateway ports. Right, okay, so that's ready now. So basically we got the IP address of that is 10.134. Right, so basically that container's up and running, and basically what I'm going to be using that later on in one of the other videos I'm going to do, but for now this is the end of my sort of the video for the setting up of this Proxmox virtual machine inside Qemu. And so I'll see you in the next one, where I'm going to now be basically installing IP Fire into this same Proxmox virtual machine. Okay, see you.